I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Yeah, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been successful in life?
We don't know, Lance. We don't know. I love it, Shaun. Love hearing the intro every time. Gets me pumped. Best intro of all of podcast history. We're back for this week's edition of the mma-analysis. We got one. We brought one back this week, Shaun. Maybe someday. I don't know if he's ashamed of his wrestling picks.
Ooh, the mush.
Ooh.
Yeah. Lance is running so bad that he mushed a dude out of a fourth NCAA title by picking him as a minus 300 to win the entire tournament. And then I think it actually got up crazy. It got up to like 500 or something like that. So there were people that made out way worse on that than I did. I'm not sure if you guys got suckered in like me, but yeah, fun times. Spencer Lee, for those who don't know, is the man in question who, just couldn't quite cut it. I don't think he's very good at wrestling. That Spencer Lee might be a little bit of a fraud.
A little overrated with only 3 national titles. Just
Terrible.
Just a little overrated.
Terrible. Wes, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. Yeah, good to be back. Decent card last week to talk about. This week's is okay, I guess, but I'm at the point now. Any like weekends with some basketball, well, maybe not anymore. I'm not as hyped about tournament basketball as I was, but yeah, it's good.
You didn't get the Sharpie out and Sharpie off the Wildcats on the hat, so it can't be that bad.
I am not one of those fans.
It's always next year.
I have been through. I don't. These people just they don't get it. I've been around for a long time. I remember going almost 20 years without a title. You know what I'm saying? I remember going that long in between shit where these people think it's just it comes.
It happens.
It just happens all the time. You're that great. I mean, Coach K has got 5 in like 35 years. You know what I'm saying? Like chill the fuck out, people.
Yeah,
I'm still sad.
But it was fun to watch. I know that your expectations weren't the highest for the old Cats this year, and then they had a whole bunch of injuries and shit like that as well. So
yeah. But see, it's like when you're a diehard fan like that, it's me. I'm a pessimist, but still, this team this year, the entire year how I felt about them. But then you win one. You know what I'm saying? Then you win a game and you just look like the best you've looked all year, and you're like, oh man, well we can at least make a Sweet 16, and I'd be happy with that. Nope. And you lose in the most crushing way possible after you literally lead the entire game. These motherfuckers can't hit shit, and then a dude hits a 30-foot bomb at the just shit like that. Those are the ones that kind of stab you a little bit.
Wasn't great, but always next year. I'm sure they're bringing in 17 5-star recruits for next year, and it's gonna be
next year actually has guys that could be NBA lottery picks if they went straight out of high school, and we have like a few of them. It's gonna be stupid next year.
We'll see how they put it all together. Shaun, how are things on your end? You look like you're on the road again.
I'm on location in Winnipeg, so it's it's quite enjoyable. But only here
you're
for
in
1
Winnipeg.
night.
We couldn't even get Bailey's on the podcast.
No,
he's
we don't.
He's
we
drunk
don't
in
have,
a ditch.
He's
somewhere,
drunk, and we
bro.
don't have enough money to get that man out of his house. If we're being honest,
Yeah,
so.
I don't think he leaves his house. So
Why would you?
Why? Yeah, man lives in a castle.
Castle.
Yeah,
It even gets a moat around it certain times of the year. So.
keep the riffraff out.
All right. Well, we had a card last week. It was good. I think this is the highest percentage of any card I've watched so far this year. I watched all but one.
New high score. Look out.
Yeah. Yep. And that's
because it was on in the afternoon. That's why.
It is. It was on in the afternoon. I was already watching basketball. There was lacrosse going on. I was just parked on the couch. It was a beautiful weekend this past weekend. One of the best times of year to be a sports fan for sure. But we're going to get into it, go through last week. I think some of us won some money.
I think we all pretty much won money, which is a fucking rarity this year.
I lost a tiny bit.
God damn it. It's because you weren't on the podcast. That's why.
Yeah, I had a little bit tied to Usman like a fucking moron.
I know. And so did I. More on that later.
It happens. I needed that one to pull me on my hole last week. So I'm glad that who got there won't be fooled again. UFC 286, I believe, was the event.
Yep.
Let's talk about the main event. Edwards won. I thought, honestly, there was a case for him to win every round in this fight. I thought I might just be like, no, don't do that. I'm not pulling a Wes here.
There's a case like they were close. Like
there were a lot of close rounds.
I think there's a case for Usman getting 3 rounds too, though. Like there were some close rounds in there. I think the most like telling rounds though were definitely Edwards. Like I think
yes,
the couple rounds me personally, I thought it was a draw. Like that's when I scored the fight. A little bias, of course, but I don't think there's any. I don't think there was really a wrong score here. I'm fine with Edwards winning. I'm completely fine with it. I have no arguments against Edwards winning.
Yeah, I think I'm probably a little blinded when it comes to the third round because I'm thinking about all the stuff that happened after the point got deducted, where Edwards won that whole part of the rounds, but except for like an elbow at the end. But Usman won the first half of the round before the point got deducted. So I'm probably a little blinded by that. But other than that, good performance from Edwards. It was basically kind of the same fight, except Usman didn't have as much for him, and Edwards was there for 25 minutes this time instead of, giving up brutal takedowns along the cage by the 8th minute of the fight and just sort of laying on the bottom. Shaun, thoughts on who?
Turns out Usman just having basically a kickboxing fight with Leon Edwards for damn near the whole fight is not a good idea. Edwards landed 74% of his strikes. Now, a shit ton of those are leg kicks, but still, man, he landed like 65+% of his head strikes. I expected Usman to do more what he did in the 5th round. Like, I understand you're not going to get takedowns all the time, but just grind on the fence, just wear out Edwards, just try to slow him down because, when this is in space, Edwards has obviously got the advantage, and he was throwing a shit ton of leg kicks with good success. I expected more out of Usman. Obviously bet him, had him in a couple 1-unit parlays, and those came crashing, but impressive performance to show that good takedown defense and lie, cheat, and steal. Why would you not use MMA to the fullest? And it only cost him 1 point, so why the fuck not?
Can I say I wasn't impressed with either of these dudes. Like, I don't think Leon fought some incredible fight or anything. I thought Usman looked like shit. I like Usman is on the back end. He got chinned a couple times by Leon, like was stumbled. Like he looked a little chinny at times. Leon landed a couple good shots and Usman got a little stumbled. I don't think Leon looked any different than what he has. If Usman could have grinded a little more, got him against cage and shit, I think he wins the fight. Leon landed a bunch of leg kicks. Like Usman's Usman used to be able to stand at a little range and get off those one shots. He was quick enough to get in and get out and stuff. He isn't anymore. He looked old and slow. Props to Leon for I have no problem with Leon getting a decision. I don't think Leon looked special or anything. It was the same guy, you know.
I don't think he's the best welterweight in the world. That's for sure.
Dude, I wouldn't shock me if Usman could win the next one. Like the fight was that close. There's other guys that are gonna smoke. Like Kobe's down to like minus 140. I was like, man, that is like an all-time banger. Like I am banging that fucking line if that comes around. Could you imagine the things Shave Cat does to that man tomorrow? Like, my God, he would finish Leon Edwards. Like, it would be bad. I don't want to take nothing from Leon. He showed this time that he is the true champ, which I didn't argue against last time. He knocked a dude out. You're the champ. But
he was the better fighter this time.
Tonight, the Saturday night, I think he would like, even though I think it was a draw or you could score it for Usman, the couple rounds that was by far the most, somebody absolutely won him was Leon. And then he was the better guy that night. I got no problem with him winning the fight. Just don't think I see a lot of people that's like, oh, Leon, he's going to hold this belt. He's going to make a run. And so I'm like, man, y'all were watching a different fight than me. Cause I think Usman's about done. Like he looked really, really bad to me. Even in a fight that was close, he looked, and I don't think it was as much Leon as it was like Usman looking really bad. I don't think it was like all Leon making him look like that. The dude looked old and slow to me. A little chinny too.
I broke Shaun. Oh, there you go. I figured that's what happened. Five dogs, George. I do believe when I was going through, you got your Veronica Hardy. You've got the Ashnaz guy, Maya, Gaethje, and Edwards.
Yep.
There we go. Well, speaking of Gaethje, that was a banger.
That was amazing, bro. Oh shit.
Close fight, a little salty about the decision. Not when it happens, because like I get it. But when you see the actual scorecards that got them there, you're just like, yeah, how do you guys come up with this shit? Like
there was some bad ones on this card, like just off cards and shit that were just there were some more bad ones.
Can't trust those Brits, man. Can't trust the Brits. But got to give it to Gaethje. I thought he was going to get his body absolutely chewed up in this one. And then he did, but he stuck through it. And that third round was some Justin Gaethje shit.
Yeah, he once again, he will never have a bad fight with Justin Gaethje in it. As you were saying, like the speed difference was wild. But good on Gaethje to be able to survive that early and kind of just accumulate some damage and then just take over. That's another fight that's a close fight. It's really how you score the second. It's
apparently it's really how you score the first. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Fiziev in the first round looked like one of the best 155 dudes that you'll ever see, and somehow every judge did it. Like I was sitting there like, my God, this dude is insane, and somehow a dude watched that and was like, nah, it's a Gaethje. Like what?
I don't know. I do not know.
I will say, like, that was a close fight, man. Like, I don't think you can make any argument if they gave 2 rounds to Fiziev there. Like, Fiziev rocked Gaethje early in the second round. Like, you could have scored that second round for Fiziev.
And then rocked him early in the third round too.
At the beginning of the third round. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there was any loser in that. For me, Gagey showed again why he is probably the most exciting fighter that we've ever seen. I know it's been a lot of fights and a lot of fighters, but he is right there with anybody. You can name anybody, and he's one of the most exciting fighters ever. And like I said, man, that first round of Fiziev, the second round, I mean, to take that from Gagey all the way through the third round, that showed me something too. That dude's legit. Like, I thought he was going to win the fight. I picked Fiziev there. Props to people that got 2-1 on Justin Gagey, though, man. Like, that's pretty wild. That's wild. It's almost like, even if you think Fiziev's going to win like I did, 2-1 on Gagey is almost like something you're like, I got to take it. Like, I don't care if I think he's going to lose it.
In a striking fight where Gaethje doesn't have to worry about getting taken down and subbed, you got to give him a good shot. I bet Gaethje, so I'm happy for that. I'm happy just because he's a all action fighter. I am kind of bummed because I like Fiziev in a matchup against Mac and Cheese, and I don't know if we'll get that one ever again just because of that takedown defense. But hopefully he gets a couple wins and can get close to a title shot.
I'll say too, Gagey's third round after the early portion of it might have been technically one of the best 4 minutes I've seen Gagey fight. Like, he wasn't getting hit and was hit.
He was actually throwing a jab.
It was that legit. That last 4 minutes of the third round might have been the most technical piece of fighting that I've seen Justin Gagey do. He was tremendous. Like, he was absolutely unbelievable the last 4 minutes of the third round.
Very impressive. Fun to watch. And then we'll get through the rest of this card.
Yeah, it was a 15 fight cards, so we can rip through real quick.
Oh, yeah. So 6 fights on this card were either a split or majority decision, one of those being a draw. That's got to be up there.
They were all over the place, bro. They were all over the place.
They were on some shit on this one. Kicked it off in the women's flyweight division. Veronica Hardy Macedo got a decision against tough winner Juliana Miller. If Tough wasn't already dead, I'm sure this killed it all over again. Jai Herbert and Ludovic Klein, a little draw. Would have preferred if Herbert won, because I had an actual bet on him, but $5 on the draw at plus 2,500 after round 2 works out all right as well. What else do we have on the early prelims? There's a whole shitload of them, weren't there? Joanne Redacted Wood, split decision somehow in a fight that she seemed to very easily win. Malcolm Gordon is made of absolute glass, and hard times for Dusky Toads, Daddy.
Hey, don't forget Lerone Murphy getting a dub, getting a split decision over Santos.
Oh, that was early prelims too.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll take that one.
Yeah. Any time, like if you strike with Malcolm Gordon, you will probably put him away. That's pretty much what it comes down to. If you decide to grapple, then it becomes a possibility that he could not get finished. Yeah, I had the under 1.5 in the Dusky Toads fight. Same. And I man, it's been a rough streak to start this year. So when you can get them like that, you take them, because it's been some tough sledding. So I'll take that. And yeah, Santos showed well. We kind of had questions of, how good is this guy? He was undefeated, looked good on the regional scene. Turns out he's pretty damn good.
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but giving him 2 rounds is madness. It's fucking madness. Murphy won 2 rounds in that fight. Murphy was minus 165 or something like that. Even though I think Santos showed up and showed good for himself, still he's coming over there fighting Murphy. That was a good spot, a good price. Hadley, I don't know what to think of the guy because he's knocking out Malcolm Gordon and shit. Who knows? Yeah, and Those dusky toes, baby. Yeah, you bet the unders in that guy's fight because it's just something's gonna happen where a dude's gonna go down, one way or the other.
Not great. I'm looking for. Of course, I had Murphy with Fizzy, so that's why I didn't win money on him. Moving on to the ESPN News prelims. Yeah, baby, we made the big time.
And NIT takes precedent on the big ESPN.
Mukayev almost mooked his way out of this one, but it looked like in the end he just mooked himself out of a year or so of his career because that knee is jacked up. But got the second consecutive third round sub, this time against Jafar Filho. The tall dude. Oh my goodness. This was glorious. The tall dude got absolutely murdered. And then, as somebody said in the chat, tried to fight his corner for like 5 minutes afterwards.
That's great.
Just, that was almost James Vick tier. That was a good one.
Yeah.
What else do we have on here? Chris Duncan, Omar Morales.
Another banger of a scorecard, 30-27 for Morales.
That was.
Yeah, I don't remember this being overly competitive.
It wasn't. I bet Duncan too and had a pretty good bet on him. I was like, are they really about to do this? Like, this is my year, bro. Like,
to the hometown guy too. Well, not hometown, but Scottish home country guy.
Yeah.
And then Makwan did. He didn't really do Makwan things. He got the takedown early and then just didn't really do much from top and then was gassed anyway. So that was very Finland of him. But usually there's a little bit more aggression before he gasses, and then got pieced up and dominated in the second round, as he is known to do on his way to losing to Jack Shore, who's just, that man's way too chubby to be a featherweight. He's somebody's going to send him back down to 135, I think. But we'll get there. Shaun, thoughts on the other prelims?
Don't have really anything else to add there. There was something in pretty much every one of these fights. It was beautiful to watch, but not too much to add there.
Wesley?
Yeah, the Mukayev is. I don't know what kind of plant he is. I think he might be a plant. He almost got like.
There's a lot of guys that will just take that out, and I mean, props to him for just gritting it out and just taking the injury. The guy's fighting, like, literally, if he would have stood up and got out of there, he probably would have won, because the guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's walking. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, that guy's. I mean, he's got some skills on the mat. Don't get me wrong, but god damn, dude, like, he just doesn't go after anything, doesn't finish anybody, and then things like that can happen. Like, somebody's gonna get a hold of him one of these days. Yeah, Jack Shore's pudgy. Like, I don't know what that guy's doing. Makwan just. I was on that too, little sub. Thought he got a little something tight in the first round. It got me a little bit like, oh, maybe, and then like, nah, he ain't got
and
it.
And then it's over.
Then he does exactly what the script says, and yeah, every time. Yeah.
And moving up to the pay-per-view, at least the ones we haven't covered yet, Marvin Vettori takes a decision over Mr. Doolittle. Jennifer Maia takes a decision over Fraud King Casey. And Gunnar Nelson actually did things. He got a fight to the ground and then didn't just hold on for the round to be over. He got a submission in the first round when I bet the over 1.5.
Oh.
Dickhead. Yeah. Wes, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Vettori looked okay against a guy that was just trying to knock his fucking head off, the entire fight. He didn't go straight meathead idiot and try to just throw down. Like, is Vettori getting a little better? Like, I mean, the dude's still pretty good, man. I think he could be a tough out for some of those top dudes still. Yeah, I had a little parlay with O'Neal like a fucking idiot because she was like so low in price, and Jennifer Mai comes out there looking like prime Christy Martin on this chick, just throwing combos all over the place. Like, I'm like, what am I watching, man? Like, yeah, that is just the way she goes. Gunner looked good, man. I was also on that over. I think I had Gunner in a parlay, and I sprinkled on some decision as well. It was a pretty decent price. He just balled Barbering. Like, that was, I don't know. When that dude does that, he's still, I don't know, I guess sort of an exciting fighter. The dude looked completely jacked out there too. Like, I don't know if I remember Gunner being like that jacked. Like, he's always been.
Oh no.
Dude, he's fucking ripped. He's on some good shit, bro.
Yeah.
Vitamin season in Iceland.
He's on the, I don't know what they grow in the ice up there. Not yams, maybe he's on the crystals or some shit. But Jared Cannonier just jumped out of the hot tub.
What?
Yeah, Gunner looked good, man. I mean, if that dude looks jacked like that, he's still like got tremendous offensive wrestling to get dudes down to the ground. And it is Barberina though, so
yeah. There was some kind of a little bit of talk on the old Twitter that the Doolittle should have edged that fight. I rewatched it today. It was not as close as a lot of people were saying live. Vettori was actually doing a good job of making him miss and blocking a lot of those like big overhand rights with his gloves. Like, he just wasn't getting hit. Like, and when he did get hit, obviously, like he was throwing heat, so it did look bad. But he was getting just crazy out volumed. Like, Vettori's just a tough out because he has
you ain't knocking him out.
He's nothing going on up there, so you can't knock him out. He's got pretty damn good grappling. The problem with that dude is he just can't finish anybody, and so he's not going to get guys out of there. So then things become closer than they probably should be. But he's got skills. I expected Doolittle to gas more, but Vettori wasn't really grinding on him much and kind of forcing that grappling.
They kind of one shot at a time too.
I kind of get why. I mean, we saw what can happen when Hermansson decided to grapple last time out, so he's probably smart to do that. But yeah, I didn't really get that kind of little bit of outrage. It didn't really make sense. And yeah, when Gunner's got an absolute blueprint that RDA put out there against Barberina, it's doesn't seem that hard to just take him down and sub him like that. So I'm still kind of question what Gunner has against guys with obvious flaws like Barberina that pretty much go hand in hand with his advantage. He can take advantage of it. I don't know if everybody's going to be like that.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing about Vettori. People think he lost that fight. Like, come on, y'all bet though, Doolittle, man. If y'all really thought he lost that fight, Vettori's problem is like Shaun said, the finishing. And when he just comes up against guys that are so much more supremely all around talented, like a Robert Whittaker, the same things are gonna happen. Just because he doesn't have that power to hurt a dude like Whittaker and stuff, but I think he's still competitive with those guys up there, and he looked good to me, man. Like, that was a little different guy. Shaun's probably right. He didn't want to grind on Doolittle because of the past couple of fights, the way that he's gotten guys out of there. So I thought it was a perfect game plan. I thought Vettori looked good. Chandra got hit a couple times, and dude was throwing haymakers. That's all he was throwing. So when he did get hit, Vettori's got one of the best chins we've seen in that division, though, man. Like, nobody is knocking that dude out. I don't think he's been hurt. Like, and even though Doolittle, man, landed a few bombs on him, and Vettori just circled, like, looked decent.
Yeah, he got clipped that one time early, but other than that, it's like he ate everything quite well. 14-14 on MMA decisions on that one. So a lot of people were swayed by the
Yeah,
big swings. Of
I don't know. Like, I wasn't listening to the commentary. I don't know if that was swaying people. Like, I kind of half-assed watched it live, and then when I rewatched it back, it was like not that close in my opinion. So
Man, Bisping was like really, really bad Saturday.
He was on one.
He was like, I
He
mean,
had to step into Rogan's shoes.
That man might as well have been into every European's corner. Like, he literally should have been on a stool in their corner, fucking cheerleading for him, giving them corner advice. Like, he's always kind of been like that. I guess it's just not been this many fighting on one card that he's done. But I mean, he was outwardly cheering for some of these dudes. Like, the Edwards call was just, it was bad. Like, he should be kind of embarrassed. And I know he's like talking now saying, "Oh, I wasn't doing that." And it's like, yeah, bro, you were really bad. And I
got wrapped up. The crowd got him going, I guess.
I get it to a certain extent. Like, that's your country, man. I understand that, but you got to be a little bit more professional, Bisping. I liked him early, man. He's starting to go downhill. He really is. You think these dudes would get comfortable and be better? They get comfortable and just go off the rails. They start talking about a bunch of dumb shit nobody gives a fuck about.
It's why it happens with all of them. There's been so many examples of it throughout MMA of fighters becoming commentators and starting off, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's not bad. And like, my favorite example is always Frank Mir back in the WEC days, and then he goes crazy and becomes like Miguel Torres' stalker by like his third card doing WEC stuff. Anyway,
I hate to say it, that the dude has gone completely like bonkers, but Miletich is still like one of the better dudes that was doing every week commentating on fights. I hate to say that because the dude is just an absolute fucking scumbag, but he was good at it. He knew what he was looking at. He talked good about what he was looking at, described fights great, man. Like, yeah, Miletich was really good on those Access cards every Friday night.
I think there needs to be more guys like that. And when I say guys like that, obviously not crazy Miletich, but more guys that were in like coaching roles and stuff like that, because they're the ones that can actually articulate what they're trying to say and what they're seeing in the fight, as opposed to the guys who are used to getting punched in the face.
I think like they've tried, and I don't know how much he really coaches, but Dean Thomas is like hit and miss. He does good sometimes. Like, they bring him on to talk about shit going on, and
that's always a weird spot. Like the old Eddie Bravo, like pipe in from the corner for 15 seconds every round type of thing. It
kind of puts you on the spot real quick and shit. Yeah, I get it. He's been decent in studio and shit though. Like, I kind of like the way he breaks down, but you can tell, like you said, from a coach to like a fighter, dude that's looking at that stuff on the outside, but looking at it a lot,
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to move on to this week's card, UFC on ESPN. This one's not in Vegas. I'm just so used to it being
San
in Vegas.
Antonio.
Wow. Didn't they say they're pretty much done with Apex?
Oh,
I'm sure
said that. Was that Dana that said that?
Dana said that.
I'm
Meanwhile,
sure they
already have
it,
a fucking shit ton of events that are booked for the Apex.
It's too cheap for him, man. I don't know why. A lot of people are like, oh, well, they get the gate and stuff. I'm like, I don't think y'all realize how much it costs to take that stuff.
Move all that shit across
to
the
where
country.
they can just throw it right in their fucking gymnasium.
It's already
run
set
fights,
up.
Get paid by ESPN, and move on to the next week.
Yep.
Yeah. People think it's like the octagon just pops up, just springs out of the ground when
all
they go there. They gotta take the people. They gotta take the equipment. They gotta take
imagine how much they're
shit.
Yeah, imagine how much they're paying fucking Levy and shit. Like she's pulling in the big bucks. Like, goddamn.
No, if they don't, they gotta deal with little Joey Benavidez
biting their fucking ankles off. You better pay my girl.
All right, UFC on ESPN 43. Man, those numbers lose all meaning to me at this point. Vera and Sandhagen. Solid main event. Shockingly, when you put bantamweights at the top of the card, it's usually pretty good. Yep. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. What do we got on this card, Shaun? 13 fights? 14 fights?
I believe like we're at 13. Too many is what the correct answer is.
Not too many for Toastmaster.
Yeah,
this card fits in Toastmaster.
There's way too many when it won't fit in Toastmaster. That's when we got
13. We're good.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna kick it off with one that we don't need to talk about for too long. Haley Cowan, Tamales Vidal in the women's bantamweight division. Shaun, tamales are life. That's what that means, right?
Pick the dog. Vidal Sassoon is the dog, and that's what I'm going with.
Wes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking the dog as well. Don't care. I wish there was a higher decision prop on this because missed a few of those lately. Next up in the flyweight division, Victor Altamirano. That was an old brand of Nissan or something back in the day, right?
Yep, something close like that.
Murano is
Altamirano
right now, I believe.
Well, it's an Altima.
And an Altima. Yeah. So he's a fucking Nissan car is what this guy is.
He's a
Victor Nissan. Yep. That's my dude. Taking on Vinny Salvador. Not from Salvador, from Brazil. So I don't know if he's a fraud or not, but I'm sure Shaun's going to tell us.
I'm not going to tell you too much. This is also very low-level shit. Altamirano, his wins in the UFC are fairly fraudulent, in my opinion. I don't know what to think of Salvador, but it's probably a close fight, as the line indicates. I will, I guess, pick Salvador, even though he's the slight favorite.
Wesley?
Yeah, I was just a little bit more impressed by Salvador's performance on his Contender Series fight than what I've seen out of the Nissan man. I don't really have anything on this fight. I think it's a coin flip fight. Who really knows what's going to happen here? Like I said, I lean Salvador. Nothing I want my money on, man. It's just so low level. The outcomes are numerous. I'm going to pick Salvador.
Yeah, I guess this one hasn't really moved a lot. It opened kind of even. It's staying kind of even. I'd consider Salvador at plus money. Victor Nissan can't wrestle, but he's a grappler, or just like tries to overwhelm you with volume, but not going to work so well against a guy who's a much bigger hitter in this spot. So I lean Salvador, but I would need a plus number in order to play him in this spot. Lightweight division. Manuel.
Is that Miguel Torres' son?
I don't know. Is it Miguel Torres?
He's back. Dude got a facelift, changed his name.
Puffed up a little bit. Now he's taking on Trey Ogden. Manuel Angel Torres. Maybe Frank Mir comes out of retirement to call this one. Who knows? Noriega. There you go. Shaun.
Another one where I don't have too much. Torres has shown decent power. I mean, I guess knocking out Camacho is not too special in this day and age, but he's still getting guys out of there. Got the guy out of there on the Contender Series. Could he get out-grappled by Ogden? It's a possibility. I just would rather stay away. I'll probably pick Torres to get the W, though.
Wes, have you seen this? That Manuel Angel Torres has a loss to Mahatma Gandhi Avalos on his record from the regional circuit?
These are like warring dictators, right? What the fuck is going on?
I don't really think Gandhi was a dictator, but
we'll say world leaders. How about like their kids are scrapping?
There you go.
Playing out.
Thoughts on this one?
Like Torres is looked okay against some bums. I think Trey Ogden's like really bad. Split decision lost to Jordan Levitt and shit. I don't know. I'm gonna watch this line, man. They're hammering Ogden. Like this guy's getting bet. I don't know why. I guess they think he can take Torres down and just grind on him and win a decision here. I guess that's possible. Man, but Ogden's bad, dude. I guess if they keep piling the money on him and Torres comes down some more, I might end up with a small bet on him. I haven't looked at the props on the fight, but maybe him by KO is worth a look. I don't know. They just seem to be seeing something in Ogden that I'm not, because I think Torres opened it like
minus 250.
Yeah, and he's down
minus 140.
Yeah, and the past couple of days they're hammering Ogden, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna watch the line, man. If Torres gets down to even money or something, I'm gonna have to take a small shot. Just a pure fade on Ogden. I think he's a bum. So Torres is the pick for sure.
When I first saw this open, I was thinking Ogden, and then it got hammered down over $1 or around $1 to where it is now. I was looking at the Ogden sub prop, which opened at plus 550, and now it's 25. If I was going to be playing this, I'd probably be looking in that direction. But man, with those lines long gone, I think I'm probably just going to stay away. I think Wes might be right here that if Torres gets down too low, he should be the side. But just looking at how easily he's been out-grappled in a couple of his regional scene fights, I wouldn't be shocked to see Ogden do that to him as well. So we'll see what Ogden sub opens at a couple of the other books, because I'm only seeing it at Bet Online right now. So if it's if I can get a 500, 600 on that, so I'll probably take a little stab on Ogden. Flyweight division again. Good old CJ Viagra never fails, at least for the first 4 hours. Taking on Daniel Lacerda, who fails after the first 4 minutes. Shaun.
Yeah, like the Silva's okay offensively, but it's pretty much round one or bust. Tyra couldn't even get Vergara out in the first round, so I expect Vergara to withstand whatever he throws in the first and take over. But he's not an amazing fighter, and he's minus 240. It's tough to lay that, but I don't know. It seems like some of these lines, that's just kind of what you have to do at this point, because I feel like in years past this would be closer to like minus 170, minus 180, and now it's minus 240. So got to pay to play, but I'm gonna pass on this one.
Wesley.
Yeah, I like Vergara here too, but like Shaun said, man, it's just tough to lay that kind of price. There's some other smaller chalk spots that I like on the card. Hopefully I don't get caught speeding. I've been on so many dogs this year and they're just not hitting. I like some small chalk on this card, so dogs I'd probably roll. But Vergara's like minus 240. Him inside the distance is minus 200. So they pretty much know what De Silva's about here. He'll crumble eventually. I think that's what's going to happen. Vergara's got really good pressure and stuff. Like Shaun said, Tiara couldn't even get that dude out of there in a round and a half. So yeah, I just think his pressure's too much, and he eventually wears on De Silva and gets him out of there.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to be careful in this one, you can probably take Lacerda, De Silva, whatever, by round one or round one sub, and then just smash the Vergara money line on the other side, because if this gets out of round one, Lacerda's got a lot of quit in him, and Vergara's got a good gas tank. And if it's in round one, it's probably Lacerda doing something crazy in round one, just like our boy LR in Tijuana. Moving on up, welterweight division. Trevin Giles, is he still a cop, or did he quit? Did he stop being a cop? I thought he might have stopped being a cop and started training full time. And
he fights for the UFC, so he might have quit and then had to go back to doing that.
Anyway, he's taking on Preston Parsons. This is a fight. Shaun?
It is a fight. To me, Preston Parsons just is not that good. I know Giles. I know to a lot of people, he's just not. He's not good, and I know there are a bit of some concerns about Giles. His 2 losses aren't bad in hindsight. The Duplessis, obviously, as we've seen, is pretty damn good, and Morales, he might have something in there. So the losses aren't that bad. The takedown defense of Giles is a bit concerning. I just hope he doesn't get complacent when he gets taken down. He works back to his feet. He's the better striker here. I think if he can not get laid on for too long and keep this fight on the feet and do some grinding himself, he should be able to win a decision here. So I'll be on Giles as it's pretty much a pick 'em, or he's close to a dog. So hopefully I get some plus money. I always like to get some plus money when they're super, super close there, because I have a bad history of laying small juice. So regardless, I'll be taking Giles.
It's just looking through as you were talking about Giles losing to Drickus. That man's nickname game is so disappointing. There's so much that you can do with the name. The initials, he's DDP. He's from South Africa. How is he not the diamond cutter?
I know.
Come on, man. What are we doing here?
They didn't get wrestling back then.
They probably still don't get it now. Maybe they've got DDP yoga though. You never know. The man's branching out. He's a Renaissance man. Wes, what do you got here for Giles and Parsons?
Yeah, I like Giles here. I do think your worry is can Parsons, though Preston Parsons sounds like a kid at Duke that's roofing chicks and raping them at college parties and playing lacrosse on Saturdays.
Hey, now, come on, that was thrown out, was it not, Brad?
That's correct.
That was false.
I had a friend on that team. Absolutely, nothing happened.
Yeah, we'll
he
go.
Wasn't there at the party.
We'll go by what the judge says. Dismissed,
it wasn't just like dismissed, but like the DA that tried to bring it to them got fired and everything like that. Like,
yeah,
it was a big deal.
Yeah,
innocent.
Yeah, I remember it. Still a bunch of still a bunch of white kids.
I'm pretty sure there were some unsavory things that happened around those fellas as well.
Oh yeah,
it's not that one.
I think you are worried about Parsons with the takedown here. Can Giles not just lay there? And I think if Parsons can't get him down and hold him on the mat for a couple rounds and on the feet, I think Giles is better. He's got a more well-rounded striking game. I still think he's got a pretty good chin, man. Like he got taken out by 2 legit just dudes with insane power, man. I don't think Preston Parsons is hitting like fucking the old diamond cutter. We're naming him that now. It's going for take your ass to the mine and diamond cut you.
Right.
And then Michael Morales, I think, is the real too. Like we've seen his striking game. So I think Giles can keep this up for a couple rounds. And I just think with that price, man, you're getting Trevin Giles, a dude that's fought just the level of competition difference here is just insane. You're getting him at even money here. Like, I just think that's something that I got to take. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So Trevin Giles is the play.
I'm right there with you. I think this one is way too tight. I'm not even as concerned about the wrestling here. I know that Parsons had some success against some guy in his last fight. Dude came in on like 3 hours notice for that fight. I know that Daniel Rodriguez is obviously better than Trevin Giles, but he had absolutely no success trying to get takedowns in that fight. And it's not like Rodriguez is a stalwart defensive wrestler. So I think that Giles is going to be able to keep this on the feet, maybe get some top position of his own. And if they are on the feet, he's not a great striker by any means, but I think he's certainly got an advantage when it comes to this fight. So I like Trevin Giles. Wes likes Trevin Giles. Shaun likes Trevin Giles. That's going to be the consensus bet of the week. What are we going with here? Minus
105.
That is widely available.
We get back on track sometime this year, boys.
Damn right. We didn't do the consensus, as we said last week, until one of us won. We all won. We're back with the consensus this week. It's on Trevin Giles. Nothing makes you feel more confident than that.
Having your money on a cop. I mean,
hey, if he loses like qualified immunity, it doesn't count, right?
yeah, I mean, he gets to go out and shoot 2 people after he gets done. So I mean, he's gonna be all right. He'll be fine.
He wins either way.
Either way, somebody's dying Saturday. Put it that way.
Oh man, featherweight division. Moving on. We don't want to cause an international incident. Proud Boys showing up at Wes's house or something. Steven Peterson, speaking of a dude that looks like he kind of fits in with the Proud Boys, taking on Lucas Alexander, who seems like he's not Brazilian, but he's Brazilian. Shaun?
Yeah, obviously Alexander got just waxed by Brito in his first fight in the UFC. I don't know if there's much to gain from that fight. He did get taken down twice in two chances. Steven Peterson is the better fighter. It's just, do you want to have your money on Steven Peterson as a small favorite? He's a guy you want as like a plus 150, maybe plus 200, where, you know, he can make a fight close and gritty, and maybe you can squeeze out a close win. It's tough for me to lay that juice for a bet on a guy like that. I'll pick him in Toutmaster, but yeah, I don't really want to have money on Peterson.
Did you guys hear the ice machine?
Oh yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky Lance isn't here.
No, I think I'd be fine. I can take it.
That Tyler Hero I see in the background.
Don't talk about my ice machine, man. Don't talk about it. Jeez.
Lance did the ice machine. Said something about Tyler Hero and this girl. Boy, that was it. Jay cut that shit off.
Gone.
That's
hey,
my boy. That's my boy.
Different people handled the pandemic differently. All right. Yep. Wes, thoughts on Ocho? Is this the Ocho guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ocho against, I don't know, Nocho.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to what Shaun said. Like, he's dead on. You want, this is a close fight. You want Steve Peterson in these close fights as a small dog, and then he's usually worth a bet. Usually know what you're going to get out of Peterson. He's going to give an honest account, but he's not very good, man. Like, he's just not. So you're taking that risk with your money. I'm not risking it at whatever he is now, minus 170 or something. I'm not parlaying Steve Peterson. I think you're just kind of out of your mind. I know Lucas Alexander lost to Brito, who Brito's legit. So I don't know how much you put in that one, but I mean, a few back he's fighting guys named Reginald Mack II and shit, like Return of the Mac out here. It's like, I don't know if this guy's any good or not. So Steve Peterson's the pick, but you can't parlay Steve Peterson.
That sounds like Khalil Mack's grandfather or something.
Yeah, right.
Reginald Mack. What the fuck is that?
The second.
Yeah, like I still don't think we know much about Alexander. Can't take much away from the Brito fight. That's a way higher level fight than this is, but he's one of those guys that he didn't really face much in the regional scene. I know he's got a win over UFC vet or Contender Series vet Jacob Kilburn, but
by injury. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Yeah, and also, even if it was a legitimate win, that doesn't mean much of anything to me either. So just a whole lot of unknowns here. And the stuff that we do know about Peterson is that he's just not great. He's durable. He's going to come at you for 15 minutes. Don't know if Alexander has the cardio to fight that off. And I'm not willing to pay to find out in this spot. Sticking in the featherweight division, Tucker Putz taking on Daniel Pineda, friend of the analysis.
Still going, baby.
Yep. Legacy FC double champ back in the day. One of the originators. I heard Connor stole his bit from Daniel Pineda. He didn't know what to do when he won the second belt. So he looked to his inspiration, the Mexican Jake Shields, Daniel Pineda. Shaun?
Love it. This should be a fun grappling fight. Both these guys are decent grapplers. Hopefully Pineda can kind of get on top. I know he's had a little bit of success from the bottom, but generally he does his best work when he's on top. So this is a pretty wide line. Pineda is like you said, he's a vet. I know he's had a couple tough outings, but he usually is in fun fights, and I just think he can make this fight a lot closer than what the line says. So plus, what are we at? Plus 245. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play that small, and hope that he can make this gritty and get some grappling going and maybe get the putts out of there.
Wesley.
Yeah, that Grand Theft Auto meme that's around like, oh shit, here we go again. I mean, Daniel Pineda plus 250. Oh shit, here we go again. I mean, I'm riding, dude. Like, me and Brad's been betting on Daniel Pineda for probably 8 or 9 years now. All going back, LFAs, like all of them.
Yep.
This is what you're getting out of Pineda now. He's 37. Dude's older. You're gonna get these big lines against dudes that are like, okay, like fucking Tucker Lutz. Like, you just got out grappled. I mean, Sabatini's a pretty good grappler, but I don't know, man. I think this line's a little wide too for a vet that knows what he's doing on the mat, which is where this is probably going to end up. So I'm going to take a small shot on Pineda. It wasn't. I don't like it enough to where we was going to consensus it. I don't like it that much, but it's definitely worth a small spot here. Also looking at Pineda sub, it's like plus 650. I think if he does get on his back, there's stuff there to where he can grab guillotines and stuff like that. I've seen Daniel Pineda grab a hold of guys' necks before. So at plus 650, I think that's worth a small sprinkle as well.
Yeah, this is one of those spots where watching and betting this shit for as long as I have is probably going to get me in trouble because Daniel Pineda's won me money a lot of times as a pretty big dog throughout the years. Lost me money a couple times, but usually as a pretty big dog as well. So it takes a few more of those to even out, and we're not quite even yet. So we're going to take one last ride on Daniel Pineda here. I think he's certainly got something for putts if it gets to the ground. Honestly, I don't think that there's a huge difference on the feet. Pineda seemed like he wasn't particularly durable early in his career, but kind of found some durability as he went and improved. Obviously got knocked out by Kape in his last, I think that was his last UFC fight. He's been off for a while, done some grappling and stuff like that.
Wasn't the eye poke his last fight?
Yeah.
That was like real early in the fight, though. I think it didn't. I think it was
in the second. It was in the second.
Okay. Yeah, he wasn't looking great leading up to that eye poke. I will say that.
That also, like, Andre Fili would beat the shit out of Tucker Lutz too. So
yeah,
I don't know how much to put in for that, or put in there. Pineda was going for a whole bunch of takedowns early, just couldn't get them against Fili. I think he might be able to get them in this spot against Lutz. So do you like Pineda? Man, I think that one of the lines, if I can find it again, the Pineda no cards line in this one is plus 180. And I don't think that it's going to be that easy for Lutz to finish him, even if this gets out of the first round and a half. I mean, he hasn't finished anybody in any of his contender series or UFC fights. Doesn't have huge power, doesn't have a very dynamic submission game. So might take a little shot on that Pineda no cards at plus 180. We got the refund on the Edwards no cards last week, so maybe we just roll that one over. But definitely going to have a little shot on Pineda money line, probably Pineda sub, as Wes was saying. I don't know that the inside the distance on its own is quite enough for me to pull the trigger there. It's only a little bit off from the money line.
Yeah.
Moving on up. The prelim headliner.
Bang, bang.
What was that?
I said bang, bang.
Nope, wrong one.
Oh, come on, man.
Bang, bang's on the main card.
Brad's on the wrong one.
No. I'm on the right one for once.
This is the main card.
No. We got one more. We got Alex Perez and Manuel Kape on the prelims. Headliner.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no! Somebody needs to update their shit.
Yeah, you. Because
Tapology.
Nah, don't listen to Tapology. It's Wikipedia.
They're usually on their shit like quick.
I've learned. I start on the Wikipedia, and then I flip over to Tapology so that I can really quickly look at these guys' records and make up some bullshit to tell the people on the podcast. You know how I do.
You betcha.
Shaun, the Kape man, taking on former title challenger Alex Perez.
Yeah, who knows if this fight will actually happen. Alex Perez has 11 fights canceled since 2019. So yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't hold your breath on this one until they're in the
Alex
cage.
Perez Magedov.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath until we actually see them close the cage and start this fight. But to me, I just got to take the more active guy. He's Kape's looked good in his last 3 UFC fights. Seems like he's kind of figured it out after a bit of a struggle in his first couple. As long as he can keep Perez off him for a little bit, I think he's going to be the much better fighter on the feet. I mean, as we saw even last time out, Dvorak was able to get him down and get some control time. So Perez might have some success, but when this is on the feet, it's going to be somewhat one-sided in my opinion. So I'm probably going to have Kape in a small parlay.
Wesley.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how much going for takedowns that Perez is doing in this fight anyway. I think this is going to be 95% a kickboxing match, and I like Kape in that kind of fight. I was pretty high on Perez a couple years back. Then he kind of stepped up in competition, and I think we saw kind of what his level was what it's always going to be. Then he misses a bunch of time, canceled fights and stuff. Who knows what they got now? I know what Kape's been doing. He's been looking better and better and better. So, man, at this kind of price, this is the one of the small chalk that I like quite a bit here. Will definitely be in a parlay. Can't decide if I want to take some decision though. That's sitting at around plus 350. Perez is usually tough unless somebody can get a hold of his neck. Kape ain't going for no chokes here. This is going to be a kickboxing match, and I'm not sure Perez can like box and strike, man. Like great chin. I'm not sure Kape gets him out of there. I think it's one-way traffic, really, but that decision line at plus 350 is looking a little juicy as well. But I really like Kape in this spot as a slight favorite.
Definitely leaning that way myself. Yeah, Perez is good. Just seems kind of brittle, and not necessarily brittle in the fight, but like getting to the fight, which I think has hampered him in a lot of fights because he's rarely, most guys aren't 100% going into a fight, but he's really close to that. There always seems to be some injury with this dude. Skills are there. I just don't think that the skills are there to the level where he'll actually be able to consistently wrestle Kape in this one. And then if it stays on the feet, I mean, he's a talented striker. You got to watch out for the fucking calf kicks and shit that he's going to throw. But there's a massive, massive power difference in this fight. And I think there's going to be a pretty significant speed difference as well. So those things heading in Kape's direction makes me lean towards him. I was kind of looking at the decision as well, like Wes. But I don't know. I'm looking for something to parlay with somebody on the main card. We'll get to that, and there's a couple spots that I might look at in this Kape fight. Either the over 1.5, which is only like minus 150, or maybe just Kape money line. Both of those I think could work in this spot for what I'm looking for, which may or may not be in this next fight. Kicking off the main card, middleweight division. We've got Albert Duraev taking on Chitty Bang Bang and Njokuani. Shaun.
I think this is a fairly simple fight to break down. Duraev's got to get takedowns and probably got to get Chitty out of there quick, because if he doesn't, he's going to get smashed on the feet. I don't think Duraev's that amazing that it's a guarantee he gets Chitty out of there. I think he probably gets a takedown because literally everybody takes down Chitty. Save for Barrio, who Chitty obviously knocked out in 15, 16 seconds. But yeah, like I expect Chitty to survive, get this back to the feet, and then it's gonna be rough for Duraev. So the pick is Chitty. The props are not that nice. They kind of know that Chitty's probably gonna get him out of there if he survives. So you're probably just gonna have to play him straight or parlay him. So I'm not sure if I'll do that yet, but the pick is definitely Chitty.
Wesley, the man who smoked all the menthols, has the voice to prove it. Chitty and Njokuani. You gotta love Chitty here, right?
Yeah, man. I've been on the Chitty train for a little bit since he's come back to the UFC. It's paid off. It's paid off. I've gotten some pretty decent prices. I even stayed with it last time out like a fucking moron. I mean, going against the man that almost severed a fucking artery in his head and keeps fighting. Like, how do you bet against that? But
he was just leaking a little bit of oil. It's all good.
I think Chitty is gonna piece this dude up. Like, I think Duraev's a complete fraud. Like, just an absolute fraud. If Buckley can sit out there and just piece this guy up for 3 rounds, Chitty's gonna do that here. I was looking for parlay spots for Chitty, but I don't know, man. I'm watching Bet Online, and it's creeping back down. So I'm gonna watch the line a little bit. It's almost in straight, playable straight for me. It's getting close, so I'm just gonna watch the line a little bit. I like Chitty here quite a bit, man. I might be seeing this completely wrong, but I think Duraev's just a fraud. I haven't believed in this guy since he came into the UFC, even getting hyped up coming in. I don't see it. So I like Chitty quite a bit.
Yeah, you could kind of tell about, I don't know, 6 minutes into his UFC debut that Duraev is absolutely a fraud. I know he ended up pulling out the decision against Kape, but
He looked bad, boy.
that was sketchy. Definitely went against him next time around against Buckley after seeing that performance, and that one paid off. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked that this number is getting back down towards even. As you said, he's probably going to get taken down once early in the first round. But if Dudu doesn't get him out of there, he is going to be in some deep shit because man does not have the cardio, does not have the striking. He seems like he's somewhat durable, but I don't think he's stand up to Chitty's power over, 13 minutes or 12 minutes of being gassed durable. I mean, he certainly wasn't against Buckley. So I think we could be in for something very similar to that fight. Duraev has a little bit of success early and then falls off a cliff and gets pieced up after that. So Chitty's going to be the pick. He's going to be the one that I'm looking for something to parlay with. So might be Chitty Kape, might be Chitty over 1.5 in the Kape fight, but definitely going to be Chitty with somebody. Or if it does keep creeping down, if that hits minus 140, minus 135, we're probably just going to lay it on Chitty straight and hope that he doesn't revert to his old ways. Next up, oh man, they set us up with some bangers on the main card here. Women's flyweight division. Andrea Lee. She's not a Nazi. She just dates them. Taking on, who's she facing? The future Barber. Man, she still hasn't gone to haircutting school. I mean, what's she waiting for?
He's back to the future.
Shaun?
If Barber decided to grapple, I think she could win a fairly straightforward decision here. I don't know if she's going to do that. And if she doesn't, this becomes a very close fight. I'm honestly contemplating putting a bet on Andrea Lee at this point. It's like plus 220 around there. Barber is still way too hyped up for what she actually can deliver. Lee obviously has a lot of flaws herself. Takedown defense and grappling is one of them, but yeah, I'm kind of might be betting on Barber being stupid and deciding to strike and losing a stand-up fight, and I'm kind of okay with that.
If you bet on Barber to be stupid, you already won. So you win that bet, sir. Wesley, thoughts here?
Yeah, line's too wide. It's dog or pass, in my opinion. I'm probably going to pass.
Smart.
What's Andrea Lee by decision? I mean, plus 380. That's creeping up to it's creeping up to the threshold. Mm-hmm. So I might have to play it. At this point, the algorithm has proven me wrong enough times.
I wonder what they give you split decision for.
Split majority decision.
Now you're
Come
talking.
On now.
Because that's got a very good probability of happening here.
I'm looking that one up. We'll probably look at Lee by split and then just the fight to go to a split. One of the fight to go to split's probably like plus 350, plus 400. And then Lee by split as a plus 220 dog is probably going to be like 1,200 or something like that.
Those are absolutely worth a little bit.
I'll track those down as we move on to the next fight. Featherweight division. Nate Landwehr, the Train, taking on Austin Lingo. He was supposed to fight recently, wasn't he? Lingo. But anyway, he pulled out of a fight, or
He was
his
supposed to
opponent
fight
pulled out
Ramos.
of a fight.
He was
Yeah,
supposed
it
to
was
fight
like
Ricardo
a
Ramos.
couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
It was when Ramos missed weight by 9 pounds.
Yeah, it was actually like it would be 2 weeks ago this Saturday.
There you go. Yeah, I knew he was supposed to fight recently. There was a reason that all of us felt weird about wanting to play Ramos at minus 350 or whatever, because he's Ricardo Ramos, and he's gonna do some stuff, some weird stuff. Anyway, Shaun, thoughts on Landwehr and Lingo?
Yeah, Lingo's obviously cutting weight for the second time in 2 weeks. That's not the greatest. I checked his sure dog. He has no wins by flying knee. So I'm really thinking that Landwehr is going to take it to him. That is his kryptonite. So I hope he didn't look. Hope Lingo didn't look this up and know that. So I think Landwehr's the better fighter. He does do some dumb things. So you can kind of hate yourself at times when you're betting him, but in this one, I think he's just the better guy. Lingo cutting weight again. I'm going to be taking Landwehr and probably putting him in a parlay.
Landwehr certainly looks like he does some dumb things. That's for sure. So update on the previous fight. Fight to be won by split or majority decision, plus 400. That's a banger right there.
Yep.
And Andrea Lee by split decision, split or majority, plus 1,200.
That's
your man's.
Look at that man.
All these sprinkles.
Wesley, Landwehr, Lingo.
Brad might end up with a new set of chompers like our boy with all these sprinkles coming in. Look, man, my cousin does some dumb things from time to time. Austin Lingo's horrible, man. Like Shaun said, 2 weight cuts in a couple weeks. Hasn't fought over a year and a half. Look, Landwehr is he's gonna put a pressure on this guy pace, man. If he doesn't do anything dumb, I think Landwehr rolls over this guy. Like Landwehr's gotten like pretty good. We made fun of the guy and shit, and it helped with the flying knee, dumb shit, getting knocked out and stuff, but man, when he doesn't get caught, dude, he's in those fights, even the ones he got caught in. Like, he is on dudes, can do it for 15 minutes. I'm not sure Lingo can keep up with that. I like Landwehr here, man. I hate that he's that kind of price, but Landwehr with one of those small faves that I like, it's probably gonna how I end up putting them together. But yeah, I like Landwehr, even though he's. Man, I hate laying over 2-1 on a guy that just does some of the things he does. But man, you know what you're getting out of Landwehr. He's gonna win rounds. Like if he doesn't get taken out, he's winning these rounds. Like that's just does too much to guys to lose close rounds. He'll win these rounds. So dude doesn't get flying knee knocked out. I think he wins this fight pretty easy.
Yeah, I find it hard not to like Landwehr in this spot, but man, do I want to lay it? I don't know. I know that the last couple dudes that have fought Lingo have tried to take him down a million times and not had a lot of success because one is a Mexican kickboxer and the other one was Jacob Kilburn. I think that Landwehr's game plan isn't necessarily going to be go in there and take him down. It's go in there, get in the dude's face, and just kind of muck it up however you have to. I mean, if that means some takedowns, then he'll do that. But I think he's just going to kind of try and overwhelm Lingo with pace, with work in the clinch. Hopefully he keeps that head up so he avoids those knees. But Yeah, it's a guy who has been in the UFC, has some decent wins in the UFC, has a bunch of great experience outside of the UFC, taking on a guy who has fought all of the worst dudes in the UFC featherweight division. I think you've really got to side with the experience and the quality of opposition in this one. That's Landwehr, and we'll see if I can talk myself into actually betting him in this spot. I kind of hope not, but I mean, once you get this deep on the main card, you got to have some bets on something. And it's not going to be the co-main event. Holm-mania is running wild for 6 more fights in the UFC, brother.
She'll be 50. She'll be 50.
40-year-old Holly Holm getting a 6-fight extension because everybody wants to fight. They can't stop people from getting into the octagon these days. So, I mean, all that means is there's more people for Holly Holm to fight over the next 10 years. She is taking on Yana Kunit Santos.
These chicks changing their names got Brad just working shit. He's got redacted wood and
they need to stop, man. They're confusing me. Down with the patriarchy.
Yeah,
I think they should just keep their names.
Yeah, it lets you let your talent work a little more. You got to come up with another one.
That's fair. The people need what they need. Shaun, thoughts on? Hey, first of all, at least it's only a 3-round fight, right?
We have to be thankful for those things. We only have to be tortured for 15 minutes.
15 exactly. Is it going to be a Holly Holm fight?
It is. It's going to be a mom quit / Holly Holm fight, and we are going to be bored to tears. Is Holm by decision even playable?
It's even money.
I thought you were going to say, is it even money?
It is even. It's close to even money. I mean, that's the path. That's the one. If you must have money on fights like our friend Wes, that would be the direction I would go. I will pass, and Holm is going to win a very boring decision.
Wesley.
Holm's going to win a very boring decision, and even money is probably a decent bet, honestly. Not sure I'm going to make it, though.
Sure.
What's Kunit Santos by decision here? Ooh, Jesus. Plus 370. It's creeping. But Lord. I mean, you got competing narratives here. You got just the typical women's MMA decision threshold versus mom quit versus a new name. I mean, triple threat match here, folks. This is what the people tune in to see. And moving on to the main event, Marlon Chito Vera. So we got Orange on one side taking on the Ginger Cory Sandcastle. Orange on both sides of this one. Shaun, which one comes through? The Cheeto Dust or the Sandcastle?
This is gonna be a fun fight. Both these guys are pretty awesome offensive fighters. The question really comes is Vera's gonna hit Sandhagen with the bigger shots. It's how many times is he gonna do it, and is it gonna be enough to win those rounds? Because Sandhagen is obviously gonna throw way more volume. Vera basically gets outstruck by everybody he fights. It's just he lands bigger shit, and sometimes he gets guys out of there. I think Sandhagen's tough enough that he can stay in there against Vera. So it's tough. Like I've always been a fan of Sandhagen. I actually faded him against Yadong last time out. That was a big whoopsie.
It wasn't though. Like he lost, but even after the stoppage, that fight was even on the cards, and he was getting cracked early in that one when Yudong could still see.
Yep.
When he was still a two-eyed monster instead of a one-eyed monster,
Oh, those one-eyed monsters, I tell you. Yeah, it's and Sandhagen was able to take the power of Yudong, and he's got pretty good power, so it's going to be a tight matchup. I've been kind of going back and forth on this one. I think I lean Sandhagen to win a decision, just more volume. He's going to get hit. I just think his volume will be enough to win the rounds, even if he drops a couple that where he gets hit. So at like minus 170, it's a tough one. You always like to have some action on the main event. I haven't decided if I will play him yet or if there's another angle, but the pick's going to be Sandhagen by decision.
Wesley.
Yeah, as somebody who's been on a money train with Marlon Vera here lately, I like Sandhagen quite a bit in this fight. Like I might be just completely missing some here, but I mean, I remember like Dom Cruz absolutely piecing Marlon Vera up for rounds not that long ago, and him having to land some massive shot to get Dom out there. It was going to be kind of close. Like Sandhagen is a better version of Dom at this point. And Yudong is a way better version than Marlon Vera, in my opinion, all around. Like the power, the volume, the accuracy is all better than what Marlon Vera is going to bring against Cory Sandhagen. Shaun's point about like Sandhagen is absolutely going to outvalue Vera, especially early. Vera never does much early, probably going to lose the first round. Sandhagen's going to double, triple him up and strikes thrown. Is Vera going to be able to land like one or two big shots against Sandhagen and steal rounds here? Like, I don't know. I think just the output is going to be way too much. He's going to have to like hurt Sandhagen to steal some of these rounds. I'm thinking like Sandhagen ain't getting hurt by Yudong. Like there's no way Marlon Vera is stunning Sandhagen with something, in my opinion. So I just think this is going to be an out volume kind of fight for Cory Sandhagen. If Vera lands a bomb and knocks Sandhagen out, then so be it. I'm wrong. Sandhagen never been knocked out. Vera doesn't have like we're talking about big power. Vera doesn't have like huge power. Like he couldn't knock out fucking Rob Font or none of them. Like he knocked out Dominic Cruz, like the ghost of Dominic Cruz. There's no big power there. I think Sandhagen runs away with this, man. This is like a 4-1 type decision for me. So I think Sandhagen's down to like minus 170 in some spots. I like Sandhagen 5-5 round decision.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if Sandhagen wins, he's going to win a decision. He's not getting Marlon Vera out of there. But, man, I've got a tough time getting there in this spot. I think that Sandhagen is obviously going to have more volume. Vera's a very slow starter. So Sandhagen's probably going to take the first round pretty easily and see where we go from there. But Sandhagen gets hit a lot. And I know that he's generally fought very good fighters, but he is in these back and forth kind of fights, even against Yudong. The numbers, I think, look a little skewed because of how the fight went after Yudong couldn't see. But early on, they were trading back and forth. And if he gets into that sort of fight with Vera, I think you might be selling Vera's power a little bit short here, Wes. He might not be knocking Sandhagen out, but you can certainly hurt him. He hurts a lot of people and wins a lot of rounds that way without getting guys out of there. And then when it comes to being, a washed Dom Cruz, he can get that dude out of there. But
him and Frankie, and then what he did to Shaun O'Malley, like that's his finishes.
Yep.
That's it.
He did drop Rob Font like 3 times. Like he didn't get him out of there, and I know like I paid for that one like badly, but he did drop him multiple times.
I get it. I'm not arguing that. We're talking about some really flawed guys. Some really, really flawed guys. That's my only argument to his power or no power. I think he's got some power. I just think it's being a little over exaggerated over what he did against 2 dead bodies and Rob Font, like who
and it's just tough when you're not throwing volume. Like
and
he is landing those, and he is landing those against those guys and doing damage against those guys. But it's just I would just be scared if I was backing him to just rely on that power, because he can't win a volume strike. So he literally has to hurt Sandhagen.
Yeah, I get what Brad's
I don't
saying.
think that he's gotten into that problem, though. I don't think he's that guy that believes in his power so much that he's not throwing and just looking for the knockout. That's his style. Is he's gonna come forward, he's gonna eat some stuff, and he's gonna give it back. And he's probably gonna get outnumbered. And if there aren't big shots in any particular round, he's probably going to get outpointed in that round. But if there are big shots, he's probably going to be the one landing them. I mean, he's certainly going to be the guy that's less affected by the shots that his opponent lands, which plays a role. If you land 2 shots that look equally as bad, but one guy is completely unfazed and the other guy gets tossed around a little bit, then you start to get the Doolittle Vittori sort of situation where people are like, oh man, he's battering them all over the place, should get the win. So we'll see if that happens in this spot. I'm probably going to take a little shot on Vera. I know that, again, going back to those no cards lines, it opened up at like minus 145. But it's been kind of hammered out over minus 200 at this point. So not sure that there's anything there. Steve, my man.
We are in Texas.
Yep. Yeah. It's Texas, the UK of America, as far as judging goes, at least. But yeah, this is it's going to be a fun fight. We've got that going, and we'll see how she turns out at the end. But I think I might be out on an island on this one from the rest of the guys. So hopefully that's been going as well as it has for the rest of the year.
Lance is going to be on Vera.
For sure.
Doesn't Lance hate Vera?
He doesn't like Sandhagen, though.
He doesn't like Sandhagen.
He hates Sandhagen, especially after he,
well, both these guys killed Frankie. So
yeah,
that's true.
One's an underdog though, and the other one's a pasty white guy. So
that's fair. Yet Nigel raises a good point that the Vera live line after the first round or 2 rounds is going to be out of hand.
Probably a very good way to play that if you like Vera, because I'd be almost certain that he loses the first round. Almost certain. Yep.
We shall see how that goes. I mean, he even lost the first couple rounds to Dominic Cruz. So, for going back to Wes's point, he's going to be down and he's going to need to land big stuff in order to get back in this fight. I just think that he's very capable of it.
Yeah, he's got a guy in front of him that's going to give him opportunities to punch him hard in the head. That's
absolutely. Sure. And that is what we like to see when we tune into fights. So should be a good one for us. That will do it for this week's edition of the MMA analysis. We'll be back next week. We got
are we off
next week?
We are off next week, and then it's a pay-per-view. Every second card's a goddamn pay-per-view these days. It's wild, man.
I'm gonna get so drunk and blackout all next weekend because I was supposed to be in Vegas. Now I'm not in Vegas and the Cats are out of the tournament. I'm just gonna be blackout drunk all next week.
No fights, and 287 is the following weekend. It's Pereira versus Adesanya 2, Burns versus Masvidal. There's some bangers on that card. It kind of snuck up on us.
I got a sneaky little bet in for the Pereira Adesanya fight. I'll have to tell you guys about it off air, so as not to get in trouble. But yeah, Wes, I'll be with you next weekend in terms of getting drunk, but that's because I will be cheering on my Toronto Rock against the evil Buffalo Bandits. We'll see you next week, or a couple weeks from now, folks.